Like, I wish our stream was cool enough to get a dramatic announcer.
I apologize, we're live. I hit a button without thinking. Hey, everyone!
We're here?
We're
here. Hello. I have to pull up my little thing. How's everybody doing tonight? I have to look at my web browser window. I'm Emily Vanderwerf, and this is session number 10 of Stonetop, an actual play on the Happy Jacks RPG Network. To catch up on past episodes, visit happyjacks.org/Stonetop, and to find all of the shows on the Happy Jacks Network, visit happyjacks.org/shows. We are heading into the end of this particular actual play. We're somewhere in the last 3-ish sessions, including tonight, so I'm looking to get this all wrapped up by mid-August. It's been a blast, though. And I want to introduce my players, and we're going to start with Mo.
Hola, I am Mo. I am playing Carla, the Marshal, tonight.
And Blythe.
Hello, everybody. I'm Blythe. I am playing Tiern. I have no idea where things are going to go tonight, but it's going to be fun.
And Nick.
Hey, everyone. I'm Nick. I am playing Braun, and I also don't know what's going to happen, but things are afoot.
And finally, Mac.
Hey guys, I'm Mac. I'm going to be playing Ilsa, the would-be hero.
Wonderful. I'm Emily Vanderwerf. I'm the GM for this evening. I play all manner of other characters. So who, for a couple free advantage rolls, wants to do a recap of last time's session? It was a doozy.
Let's see, do I got notes?
I'm looking through my notes right now.
I'll stall for time.
I have my tarot deck right here, so if anybody wants me to just like do some readings while we're waiting. I have a tarot. I have like many.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Go for it. Well,
When last we left our heroes, we had all returned back from going to Mars Edge, and we know that Braun and Tyrion had a scene while Ilsa and Carla went out into the woods to go seek a soothsayer, which was weird and interesting. Upon returning, there was a scene where Carlo and Ilsa arrived just in time to stop a little girl from running off into the forest to meet. Who's she gonna meet?
some sort of fairy.
Yes, some sort of fairy on the edge of the forest, but not our patron fairy. So it wasn't good. We then went back to town.
I don't know. I thought he was pretty good.
Braun did think he was pretty cool and was all in. We went back to town where I strongly advised Braun to stay away from the little girls. And I tried to confront Miss Dolores, who exposed herself as a changeling. In the meantime, Tyrion spoke to her boyfriend, betrothed.
Anouk is the changeling. Dolores is the friend who wants to get Anouk back.
Sorry, Anouk was a changeling, ran off into the forest. Tyrion spoke to her betrothed about what we could do to stop whatever is encroaching on Stonetop. And he said we had to go and into the underworld. To do so, which we had to get past the Great Worm. Did I cover bases?
But also, we can't come back with, we have to leave someone behind.
Right. So we were taking Braun. We didn't know who was not going to come back yet.
Yes. And crucially, I believe only Tyrion knows this information.
Yes.
Right.
Because she is future Fae royalty. based
Yeah.
on her marriage deal.
And I was told I cannot say it, right? Like that is
Yeah.
something I can't talk about. Yeah.
If you do try to talk about it, you won't be able to. Also, I believe we ended on Ron's friend visiting him and saying, "You're going to be the best at helping your friends, and then when you're down in Fairyland, you're going to leave a door open for us to get back through."
Yes.
Which only Braun knows. So, yeah. Honestly, like Braun, it may be a thing that's almost like a dream, where you've kind of half forgotten the details. But yeah, that's
Have forgotten
it.
what? What do you mean?
So normally we would do a thing where we would have a, you're packing up and all of that. But in the interest of time, we're going to kind of skip over that. But I do want to see the scene of Tyrn convincing everybody you have to go into the woods and you have to sneak past this giant worm that blocks the way to Fairyland.
I forgot I didn't actually do that yet.
You talked to a couple of folks, and I think you talked to Ilsa and Carlo. I don't think that Braun is yet in on this.
I could not remember who was there.
You went into the jail cell to talk to yourself. As far as I know.
I came back out and told y'all I did tell you all that I was engaged. That did happen.
He asked you to be a little more proud of this relationship.
Which is like, I'm fair, you know? There's always, when you're dating someone, you should probably be proud of it. We're framing a Nook, too. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
We framed a Nook for stealing the book.
Yeah. A Nook has run off into the woods. Everybody in your little group is aware she's a changeling. It's not like general knowledge throughout town. Actually, I don't know if Braun knows, but like you would tell Braun, so.
Probably. It's probably going to come up in this conversation right now.
Yeah, so we have to go convince Braun to go to the woods with us because Braun was not there when I told this to him.
Braun was in prison for a while, and then was something happened that made you have to like recuperate, and I don't quite remember what it was. But
I got kicked in the head by a horse.
Oh yeah, you got hit by a horse.
You rolled poorly. But yes, that's where we are. So you can either play out convincing Braun, or you can play out like the morning before you leave on this mission. I'm fine with
Speaking of that, have I healed any hit points after a night of rest or anything?
Yeah, and actually, if y'all have enough to level up, you spent a little time preparing. So we'll say that you had enough. We'll say it's been a week, so that everyone can heal up and you can level up and all of that. You weren't immediately gonna. Actually, knowing y'all, you probably would immediately start into the woods to fight a worm. But like, let's just say, you uncharacteristically had like cooler heads.
We'll pretend that we had some sort of common sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. What do I want? Do I have?
Oh.
For the folks listening at home, the leveling up system in Stonetop only works if you have enough downtime, because it's meant to be played out. The game plays out across the seasons of the year, so it's meant to play out as though you had downtime back in Stonetop. Got that time to level up, take new skills.
You have to like lose XP to do it. You like subtract, right?
Yeah, it's like weirdly complicated, but cool. Like I think it works well.
Sorry, technicality. I get 2 advantages tonight?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm also going to give Blythe 1 because she hopped in fairly frequently.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I try to take detailed notes of what happened, but sometimes I'm like, wait, what did happen?
Last time was pretty hectic and frantic, so yeah.
Oh, there's something I really wanted, but apparently I'm not high enough level to get it, so we'll do something else. If we want to go ahead and start, I can just pick something as
Okay,
we play.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say it's the morning of. You can decide if you convince Brown already or not. It's the morning of when you're going to go. It's whatever this world's equivalent of November is. There's frost on the grass and not a lot of people out and about just yet. Smoke is wisping its way up from the chimneys in town. And Dolores is waiting for you in the town square. She has insisted she's going to come along. And as she sees you, she stands up and sort of silently falls in beside you.
That's right. She was insisting she come.
Yep.
I'll just do something easy. That makes sense.
So who all's here? Who all is yet to arrive? Who gets here first?
So, did we already have the conversation where Tyrion has told us that we need to go do this thing?
Tyrion has told the other two.
Okay.
So it's a question of if you were told in between sessions, basically, or if they're going to be like, hey, we got to go to the woods and fight a worm.
How do you feel about that, Tyrion? Did you tell Bronn ahead of time, or did you just spring it on him one morning? Get in, loser. We're going to go sneak past a giant worm.
I think I think Tyrion would have told you the night before to make sure you were okay with it, because, yeah, she's heavily considering leaving you behind. What?
Fair enough.
But she definitely would have told you the night before, like, hey, to help Dolores, we have to do this. Are you on board? Kind of thing.
Of course. And anything you need, anything I can do to help. I know that I have screwed up a lot of things lately, and I'm very sorry about that, and I just want to be a better friend and a better companion. So if there's anything I can do to try and help with that, then you can count on me.
We shall see.
I think I'm bringing Dur, Jim.
Sure.
Do you know anything about what we're going to face? Is there anything I should prepare? Keg of salt? Oh no, that's slugs.
We just have to sneak past this giant worm.
Okay.
We'll
Worm
be in a cave for
like
a while.
earthworm or worm like dragon worm?
Unclear.
An O or a Y? All right, well.
Given that it's blocking the entrance to the underworld, it seems quite likely that it is a Y worm.
Yeah, but it's also a Fey thing, so a giant earthworm is also equally probable at this point.
Yeah. Either way, if it woke up, you'd be in
yes.
trouble.
Yes.
That's Tyr just kind of goes. It's like probably a Y. All I know is it's bad news if we have to fight it, so let's not have to fight it.
Okay. That excellent. I think that's a wise plan.
Great. We leave first thing in the morning, so I will see you at the gate, I guess.
I'll get some things together, and I will see you then. Is Carlo and Ilsa joining us?
Yes, they're aware.
Okay. Good.
I want to add on to Carlo bringing Dur that just to head this off the pass. Dur is a dog, and thus will not count toward the number of humans that enter fairy. If you want to bring a fairy dog home, you can make that one for one exchange, but like Dur as a dog is not going to count towards your total.
I love this. Yeah. Nice.
Fairy loopholes.
I have to think of these things. All right. So yeah, it's morning. There's smoke wisping up, and Dolores is sort of leaning against the giant stone that's at the center of the town square. Who gets there first?
Honestly,
there roughly.
honestly, I think Braun does. I want to make a good impression on everyone. I know that I've been a bit of a shit lately, so I just want to make sure that I'm not holding anything up and that I'm there and ready to go.
Dolores looks at you and says, "They're letting you go."
They asked for my help, yes.
Okay. She kind of like returns to like she's whittling something. She returns to look at that.
And you're coming as well?
Yeah, I'm not going to let my best friend just wither away in fairyland. I'm coming.
I can respect that.
Tyrion, you said you were going to be second or next?
Yeah, Tyrion is there early, and I'm just highlighting what move I'm taking.
Okay.
Durr is going to run up the hill, and when he sees people going, he'll run back down the hill, and then I'll come walking up the hill.
Get those last couple minutes in bed.
I guess Ilsa shows up last.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I assume you're not bringing anyone else. You have Dolores is, you really have to work hard to convince her to stay home, and the dog is Carlos' follower. So, but I assume you're not bringing anyone else. Tyrion, did you make clear that it should be a smaller group, or?
We can't, Tyrion is basically we can't have too many people coming with us. It has to be a very small operation.
Yeah, Friedrich isn't coming with us.
Well,
Tyrion says it as she sees other people coming, we can't have this many people going.
Dolores is no, I'm going.
If we're going to have to sneak, then I think that's a small, the fewer of us, the better.
Okay.
How many people did we say had to go?
Right now you have 5 people plus a dog.
And we're trying to come back with
5 people.
5
and
people.
Anouk is in fairyland. So to bring her back, someone has to stay.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to remember the rule.
Mm-hmm.
I hand Dolores a bow and say, you ever use one of these?
Once or twice. Out, Anouk and I would go out hunting rabbits.
How many rabbits you catch?
We got really good at firing at rabbits, but have yet to. It's a giant worm. It's going to be hard to miss.
It is. Let's not fight it if we don't have to.
Yeah, this isn't for the worm.
Also, one other clarifying question. Tyrion, have you told Braun about your engagement?
No.
Okay.
Braun missed that conversation.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Braun.
Also, Tyrion doesn't think he really counts as a friend who needs to know right now, so.
Braun won't remember that.
Just in the interest of, this is a fairly long journey, but in the interest of, equipping yourselves, I'm just going to say you kind of have what you need because, again, we don't want to bog down the first hour of this and doing that. You kind of have what you need within reason. I'm not going to be like, oh, yes, of course, Carlo has a grand piano. We're not going to do that. But if you think you'd have it, you probably had it. The journey through the woods is oddly uneventful. There's, you see a few animals, you see a couple Prinwin, which are the little kind of lizard monkey people. You see them up in the trees kind of watching, but they scamper away. It's getting toward winter. A lot of the animals are bedding down. So the journey it takes a couple days, but it's pretty uneventful and you have lots of time to bond. Tell me one thing y'all do on this journey, each of you, that sort of brings you closer to someone else in the group. And you can say you become closer to Durr or Dolores. I'm not gonna judge you if you say that, but like, what are a couple things that happen on this journey, just to bring it up?
I teach Dolores how to catch some rabbits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she gets some. She's gonna have a +1 now to volley. She gets pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Thank you for that, by the way, because I'll use it, I'm sure. Yeah, she. Go ahead.
I think that, yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like, depending on the actions of everyone else, I don't think anyone else really wants to necessarily associate with Braun. Like, he's there because he's been, he was there at the beginning of this, so he should be there at the end of this, I guess, is the feeling I'm kind of getting. But I don't think there's a lot of warmth between Ilsa and Braun, or Tyrn and Braun. I think the only person who probably understands a little bit what Braun's going through is Carlo, because there's a kind of, yeah, we both know that we're assholes. So I guess there's probably a little bit of camaraderie there, is probably the closest Braun gets to anybody. And I'd say even that is just kind of like, if you don't mind me speaking for you, just sort of speaking in kind of veiled metaphors and a lot of like nodding and yeah, that's what's up.
I actually, if you are happy to use this as your turn, like, I happily kind of welcome you back into the fold. Like, I hadn't talked to you since we got back to town.
Okay.
And you hadn't been hanging around little girls. So, we didn't have to have a conversation.
All right, fair enough.
So, if you want to use it as your turn, like, things with Carlo are as if they never soured. You might also assume that Carlo will always make the best of a situation. And, he's very charismatic and politic when need be.
Well, and I think also Carlo trusts people to be who they are, and so isn't particularly disappointed when they show who they are.
You can think that.
Okay.
I think Ilsa has become pretty disillusioned with the group overall. And is still pretty pissed off at Tyrn and Braun. So I think if anything, it will probably be something to do with Carlo. Maybe even working more with, like, training with the hammer or something like that.
Yeah. Carlo's military camp in the woods. Tyrn.
I'm trying to think of what Tyrn, because Tyrn's definitely not trying to get closer to Braun. Matt. I think she would be interacting with Dolores a bit and trying to prep her for what's to come. So she would just be like, here's some, kind of magical, like, here's some things you should know when we go in there, and here's like just kind of prepping her for what the journey is without saying all of it.
Okay.
But trying to make sure that Dolores will be okay when they try to come back.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So it's you've gotten to what's called the maw, which is this hole in the ground, and then there's just nothing around it. No plant life grows around there, no animals. There's like just a circle straight around it of nothing. And so you set up a fire, you're roasting a couple of the rabbits that Dolores caught, and like you can hear, it's like silent enough tonight because there's not a lot of animal noise. You can hear something breathing like the rumble of something breathing deep beneath the earth. And it sounds like it's asleep. It sounds like it's, breathing very slowly, very heavily. But yeah, it's there. You can hear it. How are you spending this last night before you go in? And how are you comforting each other about the fact of you're going to have to go do this? That's the conversation.
One thing that I think happens is that when camp is kind of set up, I will go put like a small traveling gift near everybody's bedroll, like when they're not looking, so there's a pleasant surprise, like a bar of scented soap, or if someone was complaining that they had a bad boot, like a small patch kit or like a moleskin or something to help with a blister, but don't like, I just want them to be gifts that they kind of find, that Braun isn't like taking credit for. He's just trying to help out and be part of the group without trying to inflict himself on everyone else.
What'd you give Dolores?
Oh, what did I give Dolores?
Yeah, what'd you give Dolores, Braun? Yeah.
I think maybe since she's been practicing with the bow, a little bit of balm for the toughening up of the fingers that are drawing back, and if Carlo didn't provide something like that, a bracer for the other arm so she's not getting the bow scrape on there.
Yeah. Yeah, she finds it and she picks it up and she says, "Oh, hey, thanks, Carla. This is going to be really helpful."
I just nod, and I find my gift, and I just keep an eye to see who doesn't get a gift.
Dur got a nice big bone.
I want to see if I'm, I think like Dur gets something. Does he have? I think Dur has like a chew toy that you didn't realize that you didn't pack.
Yeah, it's like a nice Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say like a bone or a rope or whatever he's sort of into. But I'm gonna do a little check to see if Braun is clever enough to have something else he can be surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
If that occurs to him. I got a partial success. I got a 9. So what I'm going to put in the narrative is that Braun gets caught leaving his gift for himself, and Carlo probably sees it since he's specifically been on the look for it. Does that sound fair?
How would you say anything?
Okay.
Nope.
No. Okay. Do y'all chat about anything else while you're waiting for morning light?
I think Kieran kind of starts prepping y'all for what to. She doesn't have an exact idea of what to expect, but she would kind of give y'all a rundown of this isn't gonna be don't trust anything, don't eat anything, very trying to kind of lay down the groundwork for what to expect when we actually enter the Fae. Because I think I was allowed to say we can go to the Fae, I just wasn't allowed to say
Yes.
we can't take it back.
Yeah, you are allowed to say that you're going into the Fae world. But yeah, you can't say the stuff about only one person can come back.
Can I ask you a question, Tyrion?
Sure.
Can you see if Braun is still charmed?
Do I have skill for this?
You can make one up. I'm happy to let you roll for it because I'm interested in this.
Why?
Well, it's kind of funny as I think there is something. Oh, should have taken attuned. Because then I can, when you discern realities, what here is infused with magic. But
My
I mean,
brain.
I think Tyrion will, I imagine there's like a spell or something I could cast that would let me determine if someone has been charmed or is magical. It's just,
That sounds reasonable to me.
okay. So, I don't, an intelligence roll, I guess.
That sounds good. I think you have like a charm in your pack that can let you like kind of see auras, but it's very faint and you have to be very precise, especially in the firelight. So yeah, roll on discerning elements. That sounds about right. Which would be intelligence. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, I don't want to roll plus anything else. Well, that's not too shabby. That's a 9.
Okay, you get to ask one question from the list on the move sheets.
Can I give her an advantage? I ask the question.
Let's leave the roll as is since we've already rolled it. Yeah, you get to ask one question.
Let me find the questions. Where is it? Am I crazy?
It's on the, do you have the move sheet? I can send you the...
No, I do. I have it open, but I'm like, oh, I see. I was scrolling the wrong way.
There you go.
But we're doing really great today, y'all. All right. What happened here recently? What is about to happen? What should we look out for? What here is useful or valuable to me?
You can ask it more directly. Like if you want to warp one of those to be like, what's up with Ron? Yeah.
Something's up with Ron. Something's up with
Ron. Who is really in control here?
Okay.
I feel like that can apply to, hey, who's really manipulating Bron? Or are they still manipulating Bron?
You can see that Ron, for all you can tell, he seems like he is unaware of any charms. Like, if what is going on with him does not seem to be currently affecting him, but you can see that there is something that is like overlaying him, and you can see that it's very magic. It's similar enough to the stuff that you've learned from your betrothed. And you can see it's like on a time delay, if you will. Like there are certain conditions that have to be met before it will be triggered. But so far as you could tell, Brown doesn't seem terribly aware.
Okay. I mean, yeah, so Tyrion's gonna be like, yeah, Bron isn't currently charmed, but will be. So I'm gonna work on dispelling that based on my knowledge of the Fae.
Okay. What are you gonna do to dispel it? Or do you you have your orb too, you could maybe like try to get more information from that.
Oh yeah, let's use my orb. Let's use my Arcanum, because I haven't even delved into those secrets.
I know.
So many secrets, so little time.
So many secrets. Yeah, let's use this. So I will roll plus int. Oh, yikes.
Fail?
Oh, yeah. I rolled 2 1s, so that's a 4 total.
Perfect. We love
That's
to.
another ability, which means like I'm 1 away from unlocking.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay. So let me look at your Aruba's ice sphere. Yeah. So when the ability lasts until you spend a few days living wholly in your body and averting your gaze from the ice sphere. So, you're going to roll at disadvantage every time you try to do something with wisdom. Until provided you can avoid looking into this ice sphere. If you want to make it worse, if you want to make it better, you can always look into the ice sphere some more. But when you roll wisdom, it's like the stuff that you've studied your whole life is like very foggy and hazy and hard to see.
It gives you brain freeze.
Yeah. It's a little brain freeze. You do have I'll give you one use of books and scrolls while you're on this trip. You've brought whatever it's in. You're going to have the book exactly you need for that. But yeah.
Only one use?
Isn't it like you only get one per section or something? I don't know.
It doesn't specify that. It looks
Okay.
like it's 5 uses as far as I can tell.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll discuss it when the time comes. But yeah, I don't want this punishment to just like be negated by that skill you have. So, but we'll figure it out. You can use the books and scrolls. We'll figure it out. All right. Yeah. So Braun. But what you see when you look at Braun is you see a void. Like when you try to look at Braun in this ice sphere, you see a void. Like he almost isn't there, even though he so clearly is. Look at him; he's so jovial.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna make like a potion for him to drink and try to get rid of this fairy magic.
Okay.
As best.
So
I
you
can.
tell me these things, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I say this because
My question is, should we bring him along?
Yes.
All right, I'll trust you.
The spirits have spoken. Braun is necessary for this quest.
Nobody else knows why, but yes.
How obvious is it that Tyrion is concocting a potion?
I say that I'm doing this. I'm not lying.
Okay, I didn't know if this was a...
No. She goes, Braun, you have some fairy magic, probably, and she kind of makes the assumption it's left over from whatever happened with the woods. She doesn't. I mean, I can't tell if it's more recent or not.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I feel fine.
Well, yeah, you'll feel fine for now, but unless there's something you can think of, it needs to have some kind of activation. So it's waiting for something to happen and waiting for its move, basically. So I'm just gonna cleanse you, make sure it's not a thing we have to worry about, okay?
Well, if it'll make you feel better, sure. But I mean,
yes,
I
it will
can't.
make you feel better.
I can't.
Do you know what you're doing?
It doesn't
Tyrion?
sound.
Yes. I have plenty of books on this stuff. I'm an expert.
An expert on the stuff in the books.
Yeah, I make this. I've made plenty of protective talismans. I helped Dolores. I thought I helped a Nook, but I was wrong there. But I think that's just because I didn't realize how far gone she truly was. But I helped Dolores. Dolores didn't get taken. I can do this stuff.
And you opened a void and let in other crazy stuff, and you've got us going on a quest without really any information.
We're getting a Nook back. That's
I mean, do what you want, because that seems to be the name of the game lately.
Well, what's going on with Braun is bad news, and well, I don't want to wait to find out what that magic is going to do.
Ilsa, I trust Tyrion with this sort of with this sort of a problem. We've all made mistakes, and we've all done things we're not proud of or had unseen repercussions. But I trust her and I believe in her. Is there anything?
Seems like all we've had are repercussions lately.
Yeah, well,
Well, then we're
someone tried
then
to kill some people at Marsh Edge.
we're due for a stroke of luck then, for a change.
And Ilsa just kind of throws her hands up in the air and walks away.
I'll save some of this potion for you if you'd like.
Tyrion,
Elsa?
to make this potion, roll me wisdom at disadvantage.
How
You're
does
doing
this-
this. What's that?
How does disadvantage work in?
You roll 3 dice and take the 2 lowest.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Great.
That's an 8.
Okay. Yeah, so you are unable to dispel the charm. It's beyond your abilities to do with a potion, but you learn exactly what that charm is and what it's going to do. You, Tyrion, you are the only one who knows this at this point, but you know that Braun is going to be a great help all the way down into Fairyland, and then on the way out, he's going to betray you by leaving some sort of door open.
Okay, well, I need him to go into into the Fae, so I'm not going to say this. I am, however.
Does it have to taste so bad? I mean, I trust you. I know that you wouldn't make it deliberately awful, right? You know, it's just.
I don't have like. If I
it's,
had like strawberries, I could make it taste like strawberries, but I just have the stuff I have on hand.
it would.
I'm gonna go.
Would
I
it
have
be a
some
problem if I
resources,
added
so
like some sugar or something to it, and I'll stir it up, or will that disrupt the magic? Oh, it's
We have a limited supply of sugar.
Just drink it as it is. I have something to tell Ilsa.
It's somehow bitter and overly sweet at the same time. I can't. All right. I'll keep it down.
So Tyrion is gonna go to Ilsa. Ilsa. On the way back, we need to keep an eye on Braun, and I am trusting you with this information because I think I know you'll do whatever is right. There's a chance we can get rid of whatever's going to happen or make it not possible, but Braun is going to betray us on the way back.
At this point, I don't know who or what I trust for anything. But I definitely don't trust Braun at this point. So, believe me, an eye is going to be kept.
I wish I could tell you why he needs to come. But if I just try, all I'll start doing is start talking about my engagements. So, I can't tell you. But we need him to come. And Emily, you can stop me if I can't say this. We don't necessarily need him to come back.
I'll allow it.
And you're okay with that? I don't trust him, but I also don't know if I have that level of cruelty.
He is going to leave a Fae door open on the way back out to let more fairies into this land. And like I said, maybe when we're in there, I can find something to stop it. But right now, I can't do anything about it. So I'm gonna try my best to find something in there that might be able to break him of this charm, but I can't promise that. And more Fae in this world that we don't know. I think it has something to do with that Fae we met at the edge of the woods, or that he met at the edge of the woods. I didn't actually see him.
Yeah, I should say that one thing you're aware of is that Braun has been charmed by someone. Braun did not do this to himself.
Yeah. I know that Braun has been charmed. I know that he's not doing this, but I want you to know, because I think out of all of us, you have the best moral compass, and I think you will make the best decisions. So I'm just giving you this information so you have it, and I don't want to be the sole burden on this one. This is not my decision to make, but I will try my best to help him. Even if he did almost kill my friend, it's fine.
Oh God, there's a second jar of this?
That one was just a joke she gave him. That was actually a potion. She just told him to drink it.
How is this even worse? You hear from the distance.
And then Tyrion goes, he didn't actually have to drink that second one. I'm a little mad. But Ilsa, you are the best of us. Just know that.
I'm not sure what I am anymore.
A very, very kind and good person.
More like an enabler.
And that's why I'm talking to you and not them. Because I don't think you'll enable anything. I think you'll make the right call when the time comes.
If I walk away from this, I'm done with all of this.
That's fair. But just know either way, you're a hero.
Sure doesn't feel like it.
I don't think it always will.
Okay. Anything else we want to have happen the night before y'all go into this pit? Dolores is fast asleep now. As is Dur.
If Ilsa is not keeping arm's distance from me, I'll have a conversation with her.
I mean, she's not gonna like actively get up and walk away from you, but it doesn't look like, oh yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Yep. So I kind of squat down next to you, and I say, I've done this a bunch of times, gone into something doubtful. Never with all his magic stuff, never on purpose. I mean, we thought what was going on in Marsh Edge might have been a hoax or something. Do me a favor. Make sure this girl gets back. We can get her friend back. Make sure her friend gets back. And tell that girl how you feel about her.
Excuse me?
I'm an old man. I don't know how much more of this I got in me. And I walk away.
So the next morning, dawn's bright and early. Very cold, pale sunlight through the trees. It's not quite as cold as it was yesterday morning, but it's still quite chilly. But as you take your first steps into, is there anything you want to do before you go into the cave?
Braun will. I'm going to come up to everybody with a whole selection of wool and also leather straps, like wide stuff, and say, everyone, if we are trying to be quiet and get through this without engaging the worm, this might be useful in tying down any of your extraneous things that might make noise, clink together, anything that could cause unwanted attention for us. If you wish to use them, I don't want to force it on anybody, but it might be a good idea if we make sure that we are as quiet as possible and don't create any suspicious noises. And you can see that he's tied up a bunch of his stuff so that things don't rattle and hit bags and do stuff like that.
Great idea, Braun.
Just
I take a couple straps. I jump up and down. I hear what's rattling. I make some ties.
Okay. So, as stated, it's chilly. That's fine. But as you enter the cave, it becomes just, as you get closer to the cave, it becomes warmer. As you enter the cave, it becomes much warmer. And as you're about halfway down, so you can still see the entrance, but it's like a small circle. It's like a summer's day. It's 80, 90 degrees. If you were wearing like overcoats, they're probably coming off about now. And the sound you heard last night of the breathing is so much louder. It sounds a bit like when an airplane. Not that any of you would know this, but the players know what it sounds like when an airplane is like right overhead. That's kind of what it's starting to sound like. You come around the bend, and you can see it. It is not quite an earthworm and not quite a dragon. It is long, gray, and kind of a flat, pinched face with a beak-like end. And it does not appear to have eyes that you can see. But it is very clearly asleep. Every so often the mouth opens and it exhales a little bit. It is almost exactly the size of the tunnel. Like there is room around it, but it seems pretty likely that it dug this tunnel.
I hold Dolores' hand.
Okay.
Tiernan, do we just have to get by it? Is there a passageway? Is there anything we're looking for?
If I remember correctly, it's just get around it and go deeper into the tunnel, right?
It is a guardian, is what your
Yeah.
betrothed told you, but it stands between you and the fairy world.
We just have to get around it, and we have to get around it as quietly as possible.
Do you want me to scout ahead and see if there's anything I can do to make the passage easier? Maybe widen it, or see if there's some place it circles around that we can use instead?
If we're going to do that, I think we'd send someone else. Let's just start moving by.
If you think that's best, I'm known to be stealthy.
Carlo, what do you think?
Is there a side that looks like it has more room? We go that way.
Yeah, there's Yeah, it looks like it's kind of laying on its side, if it has a side, being a worm. So there's a little more room off to the left. Like a grown person can get in through there, but you're going to have to kind of walk side to side along the wall, and you don't know how long this thing is. It does seem like it tapers, so in theory there will be more room eventually. When? Who knows?
Can I encourage Ilsa to bring up the rear? And put Braun on front, or actually Tyrion in front. I'm going to try to do a marching order.
Okay.
You guys can not agree.
Just
Tell us how that
wondering
works.
as to why. Like, why do you want Ilsa particularly to bring up the rear?
Because Tyrion knows where we're going, and Braun should stay next to me.
And he trusts Ilsa at his back more than any of us.
Fair enough, son.
Alright, so we're going to do something called Struggle as One, which you'll find in the move sheet. I believe it's on page 3. It's on page 2. It's on page 2 of the move sheet, which is you're all going to defy danger as a group. We're going to establish the party's approach. So I am assuming that you are, from what Carla just said, you're all going to kind of squeeze in along here on the left. So you're all going to roll plus dexterity. And then you tell me each individually what you get. If you get a 7 to 9, you pull your weight. There's no complication. If you get a 6 or under, you get stuck in a spot. And if you get a 10 plus, you do well enough to get someone else out of a spot. That's how it works. So roll 2d6 plus dexterity. I'm going to roll for Dolores. We're just going to assume that Dur is great.
You gave me one advantage earlier, right?
Yes, you have one advantage. Yes.
I'm going to use that here.
That's great.
I got feast and famine over here. I got a 7.
Carlos succeeds.
All right.
I got an 11.
I got a 12.
You got a 12? Wow.
I have a 0 to dex, that's why I did this now. I got a 12!
Ron, what'd you get?
11.
Okay. Ilsa?
7.
7. And Carlo?
10.
10. Great. Okay. So, Ilsa, you just, you just squeeze by. The other three, Dolores got an 11. So,
she's holding my hand.
yeah.
She's so secure.
The rest of you tell me how this first section of sneaking by the worm, like how
all the good rolls are gone.
Yeah, no. How this goes so absurdly well. Like, feel free to give yourself a boost in some way that you can boost later, if you want. But it just goes absurdly well, and why?
Turns in front.
I know, I'm trying to think of, I think as they're going, Tyrion is realizing that, maybe there's some, divots and ways from, it's a worm, it has back legs, it's made divots, it's kicked things, and I feel like she's realizing that there's ways for her to kind of, slip in as it seems like it's moving or maybe could touch them. She kind of, slips and, warns everybody behind them, behind her, okay, now, and kind of instructs and leads as they're going to how they'll best get out of this. But I think for absurdly well, as she's going, there are some worm scales that she picks up that she could potentially use for magical purposes later.
Get out of my head, Blythe.
Okay.
She was able to collect some of those because it was wow, this is a lot easier than we thought it was going to be.
And I will say another thing you discover is that if you just kind of glance up against the worm, it's used to having dirt fall down on it. It's not going to suddenly wake up and be oh my god, something touched me. It's going to take quite a bit to wake it up. Anyone else want to contribute something before we move on to the next section of Worm Challenge 2021?
I know that it's this I think would be more observational than dexterity, but I think that Braun is able to notice that there is a pattern. There's like a ripple as it breathes that goes through the body, and so we can point out. I point out that we can time any of the places that are that are a little narrower that we're a little bit worried about. We can time that in the undulation of the breathing to like get a little bit more room, and then it goes back.
Great. Carlo, you're the other one who rolled super high. I'm just going to say Dolores succeeds super well because she's tiny. So, Carlo.
Carlo is really nervous until he realizes he can see where he could put a sword into this thing and kill it. And then he kind of relaxes and like it's not so scary anymore. Carlo's kind of deathly afraid of monsters because he doesn't know if he has effect on them.
Okay, so you get down about what seems, you've been walking for a while. Based on what your fairy prince told you, Blythe, it seems like you're probably halfway-ish because it's a very long road. And you get to a point where it has eaten something and it is digesting, and its stomach is so full that it blocks the tongue.
But we're close.
Mm-hmm. Once you get past this, it should be a pretty easy stretch. From the looks of it, it appears to have eaten several cows.
That tracks. Tyrion is going to let everyone know, like, kind of whispers back to, is it Braun or Carlo right behind you, or Dolores? Who's right behind me?
Braun's behind you.
Okay, so she turns to Braun and just goes, it looks like it's eating something and it's blocking the tunnel. Just let everyone know.
Is it blocking the sides, but there's like still some room between the roof and the top of the thing?
Yes, you could climb over it.
Okay. Braun whispers back, I have an idea. If we excavate some of this dirt from the wall, we can kind of form a ramp and kind of shimmy ourselves over and have the dirt in between us and the worm, and that way it won't feel us going across. What do you think?
It could work. I can't think of many other better ideas, and all of the ones I can think of involve something about similar. So let's try it.
Okay, so I give the whisper network back that the way is blocked, and we're gonna try and create some room and climb over.
Only one of you can make this ramp because there's not room for enough people to. You could conceivably also grab Dolores. I think she's probably small enough, but yes, one of you will have to do this on your own. So let me know who's going to do that.
Not Tyrion. This is not her area of expertise.
How confident are you, Braun?
Well, it should be that difficult. I mean, it's got to be used to moving through the dirt. I'm sure it won't notice if something falls on it.
You say all of that, and I say, but how confident are you?
Well, it's just a matter of applied engineering. It should be a snap.
Can you do it? Or would you be better supervising?
Well, I mean, of course I could do it, but if you think that you're better or someone else is better for the job, I'll of course accede to your wishes. Look, I just want to help and make sure that this is successful. So I know I can do this, but if someone else is better, I want them to do it.
So,
I have no ego.
Elsa, I pass Dolores back to you,
Mm-hmm.
and I ask you to hold her hand. I let Dolores know it's going to be okay, and can I coordinate with Durr? He's good at digging.
You can coordinate with her. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I already have advantage. I'm going to use my advantage here.
Okay. I'm going to have you. This is going to be a roll that comes in two parts. First, you're going to roll Defy Danger plus Intelligence. Then you're going to roll Defy Danger plus Constitution, because this is a pretty freaky thing to be doing. So, but first, we're just going to see if you can do that to enact a clever plan. Like, if just even the first part of it is working. So, Defy Danger plus Intelligence, and yeah, you get a little boost from.
Well, is it fair that Braun do the plan?
The problem is that, like,
I don't think there's room for
problem is-
more of us to like stand there and plan it together.
The problem is that, like, you can only ever roll 3 dice. So, like, you have, like, 3 different ways you could get that third dice, which is, like, it was Braun's idea. Durr is helping you dig. You have a free advantage.
Got it.
So if you want to
Okay.
save your free advantage, just
I
say
save my
that.
free advantage,
Yeah.
and
Can
I let
one or both of
Braun
us
help me on intelligence, and I let Durr help me on constitution.
What'd you say?
I was going to say, can we parlay that into some sort of like +1 for an action going forward rather than advantage? I know that that's done in some other systems like this.
Would you rather, like, in general, advantage is the way to go, but if you would rather have a +1 on these rolls from. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's do it advantage. Yeah. So this is to enact the clever plan.
Two ones and a 2.
So you have a 3.
Gain experience.
Yeah. Okay. So you go up to the side of the tunnel and you do a little, put your hammer or whatever you're using in, and you pull a little, and Durr starts digging, and immediately the roof starts to collapse.
Okay.
It is.
What's going on up there?
Yeah, it is collapsing in such a way that it is separating. Okay, so what's the geography here? It's separating Carlo and Durr and Braun from Tyrn and Dolores and Ilsa. And this is a big enough cave-in that at some point this worm is going to have to sit. Like, it hasn't buried anybody, nobody's dead, but you're blocked from each other, and you still have to figure out a way around this impediment.
This is great. Love this for us.
Well,
Love this great.
do you want us to sort of take the first action off of this cave-in, or have Tyrn and Ilsa respond first?
It's totally up to y'all. I think it would make sense for Tyrn and Ilsa perhaps to respond, because they're the ones who see it happen. You know.
So we're stuck on the other side.
Mm-hmm. You're stuck. Like, okay, so if this worm wakes up and starts whirling its way around, it's going to find you first. That's going to be tricky for it because it's in a very narrow tunnel. It's not like it's going to, happen immediately. But you're first on the Pac-Man path, if you will.
So Mac, we were trying to build a ramp and get over across the top, but inadvertently caused sort of a cave-in, and we're all fine, but it separated us into 2 groups, and one group is Ilsa and Tyrn and Dolores, and the other group is Carlo and Durr and Braun. And we're closer to the back, and you're closer to the front of the worm.
Gotcha. Fun.
Like,
I can't walk away for 2 seconds, guys.
I will say the cave-in is, you can still see us path over the top of it to the other side. But the roof does seem to be a little bit weaker, so it could become much more severe. But it has not quite yet become a full scale.
Is it primarily
collapse.
dirt or primarily rock?
I'm going to say primarily dirt, because this is the worm's digging grounds, so it makes everything nice and smooth and
Can I put a sword through the dirt so that they know we're okay?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's reasonable to say. Yeah,
So I avoid hitting the worm, and I poke the sword through. I just turn it side to side and I pull it back. And do I get to make a second roll, or is that part done?
I mean, you don't really have a ramp, you can try to build the ramp again. The Constitution roll was much more like we are, just making sure that you had like the presence of mind to get it all in place. So, yeah, I mean, you can try and roll it again. You can't use Nick as a boost this time.
Yeah, that was a dumb idea, Bron.
I didn't see you jumping up with anything. It's okay.
I say that.
I also think it would be tricky to give you an advantage on it because
I
won't give you disadvantage, but because there's so much less dirt, it'd be so much easier to trigger a cave-in.
Right.
Or a complete collapse is a better way to put it.
No, it's okay. We can figure this out. It doesn't seem like it's noticing.
Why don't you give it a try?
Sure. I mean, if you think that's best, I can do that. So I guess I will try and build ramp 2.0.
Yes. And I am going to say this is defy danger plus. Yeah, let's stick with intelligence again. It feels like that's
okay.
You're still trying to make a clever plan.
Uh, 9.
Okay. You're able to construct a ramp that will bring you up over the worm, and you still got the dirt behind you that's blocking Dolores and Elsa and Tyr. But in the process of building this ramp, enough dirt continues to fall down that the worm starts to shift and move, and it is undulating in a way where its movements are unpredictable. It's clearly starting to wake up. We don't know how long this will take, and also, it makes one wrong move and it smushes you against the ceiling or wall, which would take some hit points at the very least.
Okay. I know what I want to do next, but I think other people should do their things first.
Let's see what's happening on the other side. Tyr and Ilsa, what are you going to do? Dolores is just like freaking out.
Is there anything around us in the tunnel? Has anybody else made it this far, and there's anything left of theirs gear-wise?
You know that a Nook has made it this far before.
And Nick has.
Unless you took a different gateway to the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dolores just said it was a kid. I don't know that it was this kid. But why don't you roll discern realities? Find out.
all right. And that's plus
intelligence. Yeah.
All right. I got a 7.
Okay, so you can ask me one question.
What is the question? Is what here is of use to me?
Yeah. There are so many tree roots, and they're kind of holding up a lot of the tunnel. And they are very thick, and they're very old, and they're very heavy. And if you were able to find just the right ones, you could probably construct a way to kind of climb over top, like you're on, the jungle gym thing. Yeah. You could probably figure out a way to do that to get up over the pile of dirt. But you have started to notice that the worm is like shaking and moving.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to find a way to get them out of there quicker. Does it look like the roots extend like over to their side? Because climbing back is probably counterproductive. But if I can, quietly speak across to them about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does extend over to their side. You don't know how far it extends because you can't see too far past the pile of dirt, but what you don't know is that they've constructed this ramp on the other side. But yes, you could get over top pretty easily. It would be a defy danger plus dexterity roll, just for the record.
I guess I'll do that. So I'm trying to reach them and let them know, like, hey, up here.
Mm-hmm.
Look up, idiots.
Ooh. Sorry, guys. I got a 5. My dice hate me.
I think your dice hate Braun.
I'm going to say you're able to get up there, and you're grabbing hold of the roots, and then you lose your grip on one, and you fall immediately onto the back of the one. So you're on top of the one now.
Yeehaw.
Here, what are you going to do? I will say I just rolled a 7 for Dolores, so she uses the roots to get over to Ron and Carlo, but in the process, makes everything just a little bit worse. Tyrion, what are you going to do?
Try to use the roots and grab Ilsa, I guess.
Okay.
So that Ilsa doesn't get disturbed or doesn't disturb the worm.
Yeah. Roll me. I guess that's defy danger. Actually, defy danger plus Constitution because this is a pretty freaky one.
Great.
Would you prefer dexterity? Either is fine.
Dexterity is a 0. Constitution's a -1.
Well, you know what? Let's do dexterity then. Yeah.
This is Tyrion's expertise, y'all. She's so good at this. Okay, that's a 7.
Great. Okay, so you're able to get up. You're able to climb over, and you are able to grab. Tell me how you grab. Tell me what your plan, how you sort of grab Ilsa and move forward. Because you are going to be able to get over to the other side to join the others. I'll give you your complication in a second, but tell me how you do that.
Basically what she was planning on doing was using the roots to climb up and then extend a hand to Ilsa and help Ilsa get back on the roots and then get over. Okay. So that she wasn't on top of the worm for too long.
Yeah. But in the process of this, the worm is very much aware of what's happening, and it's not just waking up, it is actively trying to squash whatever is going on. Hasn't quite done so yet, but it is like thrashing around and bumping up and down. So all you need to do is get over this ramp and then make a run for it. So I'm going to have you struggle as one again, and this time it's going to be Constitution because it's a nice safe ramp, but it is going to be like a really scary thing to have to do. So everybody roll plus Constitution. Tell me what you get. I'm going to have Dolores roll.
Take a look at that. I got a 10.
7.
7.
6.
6. Okay, Dolores got a 7. So Dolores and Carlo, they just are fine. Ilsa, you succeed so well you can help someone else out of a bad spot, which means
Tyrion.
Are you going to help Tyrion or are you going to help Prof?
Jesus.
think in the fiction of where we are, helping Tyrn makes more sense since you were sort of helping each other. She helped you regain your feet, and now you're helping her, however that happens.
I mean, yeah, I'm just mad and salty at everybody. But I probably would go for Tyrn.
Tell me how you do it. Tyrion, first tell me how you falter as you're coming up, how your constitution throws you as you're coming up over this.
Well, if we're coming up over a ramp, I'm guessing in this case, like, I just used a lot of strength to climb up roots. It's not something I'm normally doing, and so now I'm climbing up this ramp, and her footing just slips. Like, she just gets a little bit tired. Everything is like kind of weighing on her at this point, so I think she kind of slips and starts to fall backwards.
Okay.
Oh.
And what do you do, Ilsa?
I think Ilsa just kind of sweeps in and puts an arm behind Tyrn's back, and stops her from completely falling over and keeps her moving on her feet.
Okay. Ron, how do you bring up the rear? How do you?
Can I have a suggestion on this failure, if this works for you. As Braun climbs up the ramp, he grabs hold of one of those roots to use as a handhold to kind of get over the apex, and it was not, like, it was a dead root and not a living root, and it comes off in his hand, and he overbalances and falls to the other side of the worm. And is sort of wedged in between the worm and the wall on that side opposite the ramp.
And the worm is thrashing and undulating, so...
Yes, it is.
All right. How, so the rest of you are like, you have a clear path. Like, the worm is thrashing its tail, but like...
Do we see Braun go over?
Yes. Somebody does. Whoever was right ahead of him sees it happen. So, yeah.
Do they? Because I think that maybe Tyrn and Ilsa were, too busy congratulating themselves for helping each other and distracted by that. Sure. It's entirely reasonable that nobody has seen him, other than a soft.
Yeah, you noticed the Braun was gone, at the very least.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on Braun.
He was right behind me.
I think Dolores is, pretty watchful. So, but yes. So the rest of you have a pretty clear path. Because you've already rolled well enough, you're going to be able to run it.
I stop.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And I say, get Dolores down the cave. And I turn around at the worm and I hold up my hand. And I do a thing.
Oh, this is great. Okay, what do you do?
I got a thing, y'all. I raise my hand, and we're all being very quiet. Not even whispering if we can get away with it. And I shout in a loud voice, and I say, Agent of Chaos, be still.
Wow.
And I use censure.
Oh.
When you first denounce someone or a thing as an agent of chaos or anathema to civilization, pick one, and I choose they recoil and might be momentarily stunned.
Okay. Yeah, the worm hears this echoing down the tunnel and freezes, but in such a way that Braun is pinned against the wall. Not like in a deathly position, just like he can't really move.
Guys!
Ilsa's gonna crawl over the worm.
Okay.
Like, as quickly as possible and try and grab for Braun.
Tyrn, are you going to take Dolores down the tunnel, or?
Yes. Okay. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on. Like, she's ahead of me, but I am following the pick Dolores down the tunnel because I don't want Dolores to have to fight a worm.
Up ahead of you, there is a soft green glowing light. back to Ilsa.
And there's and Dur is with Dolores.
Cool. Back to Ilsa. So you are trying to grab for Braun. What's your thought? What's your plan?
Basically just sling my hammer onto my back, try and scramble over the worm using its scales for grip, and just try and reach a hand out for Braun to try and get ready to pull him from that spot as soon as the worm gives him enough room again.
Yeah, defy danger plus dexterity, that sounds like. Sometimes when y'all have like good ideas, I'm just like, you don't have to roll. That sounds fun.
I got a 7.
7. Okay. So you are able to get up on the back of the worm, but fairly steadily, fairly well. But in the process, the worm shifts just a little bit more that way, and Braun is now like really pinned. Like he can still breathe. Nothing's broken.
Yeah.
But like getting him out of there is going to require something else. It's going to require the worm moving in such a way that you can pull him up, and then who knows what's going to be next.
I'm still standing there, my hand up in the air, hoping this works.
Braun, what are you going to do?
I picture Braun as kind of like flailing with the arm behind him, like trying to reach back to where Ilsa is, but he can't see. I'm going to try and make a little bit of room. I'm going to try and poke the worm if I can get a hand on one of my knives, and see if I can cause it like just a little bit of pain, so maybe it'll back away from that side, the way they kind of recoil when you bump into something, or get a shock, or have a thorn scratch you. So
now Nick is in my head. I was thinking just that, like slipping a dagger under one of the scales.
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a hack and slash. That's plus strength.
Okay. Uh, 7.
Okay. All right, deal your damage on your dagger if you know what that happens. You are able to shove it into the...
Oh no, I wasn't sure I wanted to actually deal damage, so is that a consequence? That's 8. That's max damage.
Okay, well,
I found the missing scale that Bard was aiming for.
Yeah, you hear just a terrible screeching noise, and just an incredible, horrible hiss. Yeah, 4d12.
I think I made it mad. Everybody run! A d12. You want me to roll?
It is you. No, that's me rolling.
Okay.
It rolled a 1, but it has a +5 automatically for its thrashing coils. So basically everyone who's not Tyrion, Dolores, and Dur, I need you to take 6 points of damage. Please mark off for your armor. So 6 points minus armor.
So if you're not Tyrion, Dolores, or Dur?
Yeah. Everyone who's still standing by the worm, because the worm is now just purposefully thrashing, trying to get whatever it can. That does open up a gap for you to get out, though, Braun.
Hey! It worked!
Oh yeah, I think that Ilsa's hand, you're able to grab it, you're able to go up over.
I guess I should stab it now?
You can if you want, or you can just make a break for it. Like, the worm is thrashing, the cave is starting to collapse, like, everything is falling apart.
It's going to have to turn all the way back around, so we should just make a run for it.
Its tail, it already hit me, so I just put the sword out so it doesn't do that again.
Okay, roll me your damage. Or first roll hack and slash and then.
Hack and slash. Hack
Plus
and
strength.
slash with strength.
Yeah.
I roll 7, and that's plus 1 is 8.
Okay. So your maneuver works mostly deal your damage.
Can somebody roll a d8 for me?
Sure.
I gotcha.
Thank you.
3. Sorry, I wish I'd done better for you.
You should have. I think I might be plus 1, so that's 4.
Well, you managed to just get it in, and maybe like pry a scale loose, but not like too much else. But it is very loudly bellowing now, and its thrashing is with great purpose. And because it's waking up, it can sense where things are just through vibrations. So you've done some damage to this thing, but not to metagame. But there's a lot more damage to be done. It's up to you what you want to do next. But yeah.
Ilsa's gonna try and shove everybody ahead of her and try and corral everybody forward and away from the squirm.
Okay. Does anybody want to struggle against Ilsa doing that? Does anybody still want?
If I struggle against, I would like to bring up the rear.
Okay.
So, is that okay with you, Ilsa?
No.
Okay. Then I'll let her do her thing.
So yeah, that would be.
Make a break for it. Let's go.
When you try to foil another PC's action and neither of you back down, roll.
I back down.
Back down. Okay, great. Cool.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
make a run for it on Ilsa's lead, on Ilsa's I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of is. Ilsa's idea. Just make a break for it. You all run forward. It's very dangerous, but it's amazing how great you are, because I already said that you could run forward, and I feel like I should go back on that. But yeah, you get down to the end.
I think we made it
Yes.
mad, and we shouldn't be here when it gets turned around. Can we see Tiernan and Dolores and Dur ahead of us,
Taryn,
or have they
you gotta
already
go.
touched the green light?
Yeah, they're up ahead, and as you run past the worm's tail, just like the ceiling comes down, and you hear the worm thrashing out. You're not going to be able to go out that way. You have to find another way out, but you are past it, and the tunnel here seems pretty safe, and the worm is no longer in front of you or beside you. So you made it past, and there's a soft green light glowing ahead of you.
Well, that didn't go as smoothly as it could.
But we're here, and we're in one piece, and the quest continues. If there wasn't any danger, there wouldn't be any songs. There wouldn't be any glory to be had.
Hey, Bron.
Yes? Oh, okay. I'm just trying to lift our spirits. Tiernan, is this the way? Do we go towards the light, or is there some other guardian that we have to overcome? Perhaps a test of wits, or maybe parsnips?
As far as I know, we just go through, right?
Yeah. There's if you're asking me, yes.
Yeah.
That's you can just go forward. There's nothing
Fair enough.
to block you.
Let's just keep going. This is the way.
And I turn to Ilsa and I say, "Thank you for coming back for me. I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I've been such a disappointment, but thank you."
Let's just keep going.
Of course.
As you move forward, it starts to look more like a place that's inhabited. Like there's little glowing fluorescent fungi coming out of the walls. There's like fireflies, that sort of thing. And there start to be like structures. And weirdly, it seems like the place that you enter is laid out similarly to Stonetop. As you sort of enter this open grotto, cave, cavern, and there's just like all sorts of little houses and other structures.
Is there a bar called the Drag?
I think it's the draw.
Yeah, so you enter this space, and everything is warm and kind of a little bit fuzzy, and you can tell that this is just kind of like, it's a little bit like how Stonetop is the last town at the edge of civilization. This is the last town at the edge of Fairyland, or wherever you are. You're in Fairyland.
Karen,
yeah.
Karen, are we in hostile territory?
Don't trust anything, but don't attack anything, per se.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anybody around here. Not just yet, at least.
So where are we going next?
Well, I think we need to keep going forward.
Do you know where Anouk is, or who she's with, or?
My guess is no, but do I?
No, you have no idea.
Well, if this is analogous to Stonetop, which it eerily seems like it is, maybe she would be in the equivalent where the Anouk we know would be?
Sorry, my dogs are getting loud now. Yeah, let's.
The baying of fey dogs sounds in the distance.
Happy dogs. Yeah.
They're in their crates right now. They're very upset at me, apparently. Let's look. So if it's laid out similarly to Stonetop, let's look for a tree at the edge of the town near the woods.
There's a giant mushroom out at the edge of town, near. Yeah.
That's where she liked to make her hideout in Stonetop, so she could be making her hideout there here.
I look around at everyone. Any other ideas? Dolores, is there any other place that you can think of as well?
I know she's close. I've always known when she's close, and I can feel her. She's close. She's here somewhere.
Okay.
We don't have to go any further.
Any further into the fairyland?
Into wherever we are. I don't want to go any further. I don't know. It just seems like, but yeah, I think she's here.
I look at Carlo as I say this to Dolores. Just hold on to Dur. Dur will comfort you and keep you safe. Just like, finger in his rough. It'll help.
And that's when you hear someone crying.
Does it sound like it might be coming from the mushroom?
It's coming from the direction of the schoolhouse. Where the schoolhouse would be in Stonetop.
Well, do we check it out?
Yes, but just be cautious, everybody.
As we go, cautiously, I check out to see who's living at the widow's house.
Most of these structures seem to be empty. There don't seem to be a lot of people around. There's a few like butterflies and things flitting around. But yeah, most things seem to be pretty empty.
If we're moving towards the schoolhouse, which I'm assuming that's sort of our plan at the moment, okay. I want to leave behind buttons. Like every couple of steps, I'm going to drop a button behind me, so that there's some sort of like a path behind us.
Does anyone notice this, or think it's interesting?
I'd like to notice it.
I'm not being particularly. I'm not being particularly subtle about it. Just, you know.
Hey,
I didn't
Bron.
think you would.
Hey, Bron. I don't know if things work here the way they do at home. You may want to save those for later.
I've heard the story same as you. I just want to make sure that we have some way of recognizing the path back, and I don't think it can hurt. And I've got a lot of buttons.
There is a path back, because we might find a new way.
I try to say it again in such a way that you should stop.
But do you really think it's a bad idea? I just...
You're either making sure we have a path out, or you're making sure something can find us.
Tyrn, is that true? Could I be leading something to us? I mean, I assume that they know that we're in their realm.
Well, first, the path back might be closed now because of the worm. Second, yes, you could be leaving something to us. The third possibility, which is the most likely, is that they won't stay where you put them.
Okay. And I'll pick up the latest one that I just dropped, and if I can see, like, the last two or three... The last two, I'd say. I probably only got about 3 in before someone was like, WTF. Can I see where the other 2 are? Okay, so I'll look at Carlo and Tyrn and go, okay, and fetch them back. Now I have changeling buttons.
Are you going down to the school?
The house.
Yeah.
Okay. You get there. There is, from all appearances, like all the Fae, she is extremely beautiful and attractive, and that's how you note that she's Fae. She has those crystalline blue eyes, but she appears to be a very old woman. She's crying, and there is a kitten, just a normal kitten from your world, up on the roof of the schoolhouse. And she looks over at you and says, Thank the gods you're here. I can't get little Betsy down.
Do you need help?
Yes. If you get my kitten from me, I'll give you a great boon.
Okay. Who's good?
So
Ilsa. Hey, Ilsa. You mind saving the cat?
Get the cat out of the tree. So here a moment. Sorry.
Wow. I've peeked. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go get this kitten.
You know what? I don't even need you to do anything like defy danger. Just tell me. Give me a roll on discern realities, just to make sure. That's plus intelligence, just to make sure you have a path to climb up there and get it.
And I'm holding Dolores's hand
Well,
firmly.
Oh, okay. So you get to ask me 3 questions.
okay. Let me pull up the list. Because I'm not sure what to ask. What is about to happen?
It is just a normal kitten. You're going to get this kitten for this woman, and she's going to give you a great boon. All of those things are true. And also, the easiest way to get it is just to climb up on that little barrel there, hoist yourself up on the roof, walk carefully over to the kitten, pick it up, reverse yourself, probably hand it down to someone on the ground, and reverse yourself and come back down. Super easy.
What happened here recently?
It's very weird that not every this town is abandoned, that nobody's here. It's almost like you're being set up to come here and find something. But also, this woman is here. Why would they just leave this woman here?
Who or what is really in control here?
You don't know his name, but he is very high up within the fairy realm, and you know that he's the one who's been meeting with Brom.
Well, I'm gonna go get the kitten.
Yeah, it should be super easy, that thing I just laid out for you. Tell me how you do it.
Pretty much as described.
Yeah, I figured.
It's not fancy.
Tell me what color this kitten is.
Calico.
Okay, it's a little calico kitten. Appears to be just a normal wooden kitten. Somehow it's gotten stuck down here. Hand it down, the old lady, which is up, grasps for it, and is so happy. She says, thank you, thank you, thank you. She cuddles the kitten against her. The kitten burrows against her. She smiles at all of you and says, I said I would give you a great boon. And here it is. And instantly you all know what everyone else has been doing all along, and all of the secrets they're keeping, and all of the things they think about each other, and all of the grudges you're holding against each other. Absolutely everything that's happened in this game and you don't know about, you now know about. And then she disappears.
Well, fuck all y'all.
I mean,
Actually, I forgot, she also tells you that a nook is down where Tyrion set you.
hey. Found her! Also, now you know the things, but found her! Which actually, Tyrion is fine with, because Tyrion doesn't like not being able to tell you everything. She's just kind of like, I can't. Because magic.
Bron, you also now know what kind of charm has been placed on you.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, does that mean he also knows I was planning on leaving him behind?
Probably.
Like for
Don't
people.
trust anyone, but help the cat.
So
Yeah.
in our chat here in the Zoom, Bron points out that Tyrion said not to trust anything, and then you immediately go do something without considering it. You helped an old lady get her kitten. Like, she gave you a gift. She just didn't quite understand the repercussions of that gift.
Well, but what I'm saying is we didn't like I'll tell you, I was waiting for that to be like, a tiger, because we can't tell the difference. And then that didn't happen, so I was thinking like we didn't negotiate what the boon would be. We didn't discuss what she was going to do with the kitten, like
So, should we do a round of how we feel about the others?
Sure. Why don't you start, Carla?
Yep. So, Bron, you know that I am helping you as long as I need you. And you've been compromised, and Um, I've told everybody, if anything happens, make sure you die. Taryn, you know that I am deathly afraid of you. But I'm growing to trust you. But I should stay on your good side. Ilsa, you know that I am super proud of you, and that I expect you will replace me as Marshal when this is done, one way or another.
Volunteers should be next.
I mean, I guess it's really just you all know now that we have to leave someone behind in order to take a Nook back. But you would also know that I physically was incapable of telling you all that. So it wasn't like I was intentionally withholding anything. It was more just like, I can't talk about it. I can kind of cleverly say my plan to you, Ilsa, but that's about it. So I guess now Braun would know that I was seriously considering leaving him behind, especially after I figured out what charm was on him, which was to leave the door open, and I did not want that. So yeah, everyone else would know that too, that like my plan was to leave Braun behind and take a Nook back. But you would also know that that was not an easy choice, and Tyrion has considered several times leaving herself behind instead, which would make her betrothed probably very unhappy, because I don't think he wants her to get stuck there in this way yet. But so you would know she's been struggling with it, but kind of tried to, once she figured out what the charm was on him, pretty much settled on we're leaving Braun behind. You'd also know that she has a hard time right now.
You instantly know that Dolores thinks you're all kind of lame.
Oh,
I don't think that was a secret.
Yeah. No, Dolores. Dolores. Also, you all know, like, Dolores is painfully in love with a Nook, but you knew that already.
Yeah.
Dolores knows that I think she's a big pain in the ass.
We all know.
Oh,
go ahead.
But I'll make sure she gets home.
I guess Dolores would know now that Tyrion does really care about her and all the kids, and really does not want them hurt.
Ron or Ilsa, do you want to share your thoughts?
I think I can go if Mac, you're still thinking.
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Okay. Ilsa and Tyrion both know that Braun is genuinely sorry that he has played you the way that he has. It wasn't his intention. He didn't want anyone to get hurt. But he, understands and doesn't hold any grudge against either of you for your feelings about him. He's self-aware enough to know that he's been a real shit for the past 6 months or so. Carlo, the feeling is mutual. Braun saw you as a convenient means to an end. And has sort gives you the nod of like, okay, well, we know where we stand for that. And Dolores knows that Braun actually wanted to help her and has continued to try and help her, and wanted to kind of help get her into the business that he was in, because he thinks that she is sharp enough to be able to take that over, and it would give her some way of supporting herself without being a petty criminal, and things like travel can also help broaden that as well. So he was kind of trying to put her in the direction of being an apprentice, but hadn't followed through on that a lot because he'd been threatened with not talking to any of the girls in Stonetop. And I think, Tiernan, you also know that he also feels that way about Raj. That, like, he would want, again, very sharp individual, thinks he has a future, and could probably do very well in the trading business, given his skepticism and quick thought as well. And then also there is a sadness and a resignation, but also a sense of jubilation at being left behind, because he accepts that, but he also kind of, that's sort of what he wanted anyway, because he wants to find the Summerlands. And knowing now that trying to go back is going to be bad for everyone, he's determined in that course of action.
Cool. And by cool, I mean very sad.
Yeah. Well, as a player, I was totally going to have him not, be the one be the one who was left behind, even if anyone tried, and just trick or push people through the door in front of him or whatever. But now that's all out in the open.
This is hard for me just because Ilsa doesn't really keep a lot of secrets. She's pretty upfront about how she feels about things and about the others. I mean, she's definitely... I think, if anything, the secrets are more about herself and the fact that she's become disillusioned with everything, and the spark that she had before for adventuring has definitely gone. She, it's clear that she's in love with Onwin. And I actually thought about this for a while, and Nick, this involves you, and it's up to you how you feel about it too. I was asked to come up with a secret that the soothsayer gave to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking for a while that it was that she was going to have the opportunity to step in and take the place of one of her friends when the time came. And she's been thinking that this might have been what the soothsayer was talking about.
So everybody but Carlo is like prepared to stay.
No, Carlo's prepared to stay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
great.
like everybody's like prepared to stay.
Okay, so Dolores is the only one who's definitely going back.
Yeah, and but the soothsayer was vague, so it may not be this situation, but that's what has been on Ilsa's mind.
Okay, yeah. All right.
One last thing.
Next?
What does Dur think of all of us?
Dur sees you all as possible avenues to get food. And like maybe you'll give him food, and that would be great. And he thinks you're all very good boys and girls. So
I give Dur some food.
Yeah.
Is there conversation? Is there
I have nothing to say to anybody.
Okay.
Also, I think you would learn that Tiernan does actually want to become a fairy queen.
Oh?
So you would learn that this is actually something she is more comfortable. Like, you can tell she has like doubts here and there because she's from the human world, but at the same time, like, you can tell it's something she actually wants. So.
Okay. So you're gonna head down to the schoolhouse?
I don't have a mouse.
The
Bring me a
tree.
mouse.
The mushroom.
The tree.
Want to look
All
at?
right. Thank you. When you get there, a door to a little shack that looks almost exactly like the one back in your reality is open. And when you stick your head in, a nook is there, and she is reading. She's just like reading book, she is clearly like enchanted in a way where she just keeps reading, because she doesn't hear you approach. She doesn't hear, if you say, "Hey, a nook," she doesn't hear that. She's sitting there and reading this book.
I continue to hold Dolores' hand, and I don't let her run to her.
Dolores is like, she's right there.
Stop.
Tyrion is going to cautiously approach and see if she can discern what's going on here and if she can help.
I actually think this would be a good time for a spout lore roll, because we would probably have some sense of what is up.
Can this be my...
Yeah, I could see. You know what? You are in Fairy World. You probably brought books about this, so I think you could use books and scrolls for this.
Okay, so... So yeah, she pulls out a book and starts like flipping through it. It's not the book that she stole, but it's a book. Looking for like just anything on how she's enchanted or what to do, and this is something that I think Fae do to humans when they get trapped here, so that they don't quite recognize, like, so they never recognize or want to leave. So they won't until the changeling isn't, like, until they're supposed to go back. Which could be, whenever. Changelings aren't technically supposed to stick around for a really long time. So she's under this enchantment that the Fae put on her to just, like, keep her put. And yeah, I feel like I feel like it's like Sleepwalkers, where you don't want to like touch her, but you have to like. Trying to think of what the cure is here. I think typically if you brought the changeling back with you, that would just snap her out of it. But we didn't. The changeling's in jail.
The changeling ran
the
off into the
changeling came
woods.
on its own.
Oh, that's right. The changeling ran off into the woods.
Uh,
Forgot about that.
so
Tried to put the changeling in jail.
yeah, so a thing that often works for fairy curses is to feed someone salt. So you could conceivably try that. Yeah, bringing the changeling would snap it right away. But
Yeah. You couldn't get the changeling. I turned to the group, or actually no, I imagine I have my own little food sack. She pulls out some salt and kind of starts walking up to a nook. Very cautiously, like, obviously she's not paying attention, but she still doesn't want to, like, disturb. And kind of, like, puts it in a little jar, so it looks like the little fairy charms that she's given a nook in the past.
Mhm.
Kind of starts approaching very, very carefully, and just kind of sticks that in her mouth.
roll me to fight danger plus intelligence. Okay, yeah. You shove that salt in her mouth and evade like the chomping of her teeth, and she shakes her head and she blinks once or twice, and when she looks up, the first thing she sees is you, and she says, "What are you doing here? Where am I?
I don't know how much you remember.
Where's my husband?"
You don't have a husband.
Oh, it was a trick, wasn't it?
Yeah, you summoned Faye, which you should not have done, and I told you not to do these things. But what matters is you're not hurt. You came down here with Dolores, and you walked out here, and now you got stuck, and a changeling went out in your place, and we need to bring you back to Stonetop. with Dolores, who's right here.
I let Dolores go hug her.
Dolores like just wraps her arms around her, and like you can see Anouk also like is hugging her a little more tightly than you expect. I mean, they've been missing from each other for months, so like any hug will be pretty tight. But there's clearly affection there. And yeah, as you are watching this happy scene, you hear someone sort of clear their throat, and there is your betrothed. And standing next to him is a very handsome man with very pale blue eyes, who perhaps has been a friend to our good friend Ron in the recent past. And your betrothed is like, will handle the changeling problem. You have the pearl. Thank you so much. You really were a huge help. This was such a mess of a situation. It really could have brought our two worlds to war, and now we can set everything right. And we found the changeling, and we'll deal with her.
You found her like that? I mean, I know she ran into the woods, but wow.
Oh, the woods are our domain. We don't have her. We don't have her, but we know where she is, roughly. The animals have spoken to us and told us. By the way, this is my father.
Bron. Tieran's never seen him. So
Yeah, Bron's the only one who's seen him.
Right.
Do I recognize the magic? Like, do I recognize the aura?
The magic is similar enough among all of this family that like you wouldn't necessarily immediately be like, oh, of course, this is the one who Chakra. Yeah.
I want to. Bron doesn't believe them necessarily. So is it discern realities if I'm trying to figure out what is, like, if they're on the level, or if this is one of those things that isn't what it appears to be?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't recognize your boy?
He's so handsome.
That's 11.
Okay, ask me 3 questions.
Okay. Let me bring that list up again. I had it just a moment ago. Okay, what here is not what it appears to be, is the big one.
Nothing. Everything is as it seems to be.
Okay, well that's a surprise. That wasn't what I expected, or what Bron expected. What should I be on the lookout for?
Stonetop.
And this is a special move that I have, a special question that I have, which is, what opportunity does no one else see? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I get 4 questions because I also have I have 2 things. So I will say, what here is useful or valuable to me?
The fact that you have seen what happened to Anouk when she got stuck here, I would say is useful or valuable to you, because you know that if a mortal gets stuck here, outside of Tieran is bound to this guy, and
right.
Like, so Tieran, like, he has to honor his promise. Any of the rest of you would just become like Anouk. You would be an automaton, just living out your days doing some weird task. So that is useful to you because you know what will happen to you if you are stuck here.
Okay. I guess my other move is, what opportunity does no one else see? And I can make a suggestion here, if that helps.
I have an idea, but tell me what your suggestion is. I have an idea.
Okay, my suggestion would be: is there is there an opportunity for Braun to stay here without becoming an automaton? Like, what is the angle that can happen as well? But if that doesn't work for you, I'm fine with whatever.
Okay, I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to give you an extra piece of information. The question here, how could Braun stay here without becoming an automaton? He could become a servant of the king, which would be, in essence, nearly an automaton, but like he would have, to some degree, he wouldn't just be doing the same thing endlessly. He would be doing various tasks. You'd have some degree of limited feeling, emotion. You'd have some freedom. The other thing that I should have answered earlier that you would have noted is that you are the only person who knows who this guy is. He is the father of Tyrion's betrothed, and if supposedly these two guys are on opposite sides of a civil war, which is kind of like the assumption everyone's had, maybe there's no civil war. Maybe this is all a trick.
Okay. And the position that they took with like, hey, we'll set out the thing and everything's fine and everything's great, really was like for Braun, that was like the high pressured salesman. Like, we're just trying to close the deal, and I want to have the money in my pocket and be over in the next town before you realize what just happened here. Which is why they're
being the things that they have just said to you are totally on the level.
Oh, no.
You almost have the change.
Absolutely. No, I understand that, yeah. But how quickly and hard they're pushing for this to all be over, like, it's a used card salesman thing to use our terminology.
It's still a swindle.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, right, and the best swindles are true for a given value of truth.
So as you are figuring all of this out in your own brain, the fairy prince is like, and look, my beloved is here. Father, you could have us wed right now. We could have a party to celebrate at the solstice. Then you don't have to worry about who to leave here, my darling. You would just stay with me, and the others could go.
That sounds wonderful, and I'm sure that we would all love to have a party after the very stressful year that we've all had. I'm sure you've had that as well. However, I do need to speak with my companions for just a moment. It's a mortal thing. I'm very sorry. But if you can just give us a moment, and I'm sure that it won't be hardly any time considering your lifespan and your experience. But we just need to have a little tete-a-tete, if you will, and we're just going to sort of walk over here. And I make some motions to everybody to, like...
Roll me parley.
All right, do I have anything special for parley? Is parley int or whiz?
Charisma.
It's charisma. Okay, great. Even better. Let's see. And is this against the them, or is this to help convince my people?
This is to help convince the fairies.
Okay. I have a move here, silver tongued. When you use words to avoid suspicion or trouble, roll charisma on a 10 plus, hold 3, on a 7 to 9, hold 1. Is that applicable here? I want to use the withstand direct scrutiny / direct suspicion somewhere else.
That's applicable, yes.
Okay. That's 12.
Okay. Remind me what the move says.
Okay, so since I can hold 3, I will take all 3 of them, which are move or maneuver unchallenged. So they're going to let us like regroup and talk for a moment. Withstand direct scrutiny. So I've talked fast enough that maybe they are not fully paying attention to what we're doing, just sort of being confused by mortals. And lastly, that I'm going to direct their attention elsewhere, so that they're not, going to listen in on what we're about to say. So I think the variation on that will be like, that sounds like a wonderful idea. why don't you two discuss what the party will be? I just need to confer with my companions for a moment, and then I'm sure that we'll have a wonderful time.
Yeah. The king of the fairies is just, he loves love. You know, he just likes to see love. So he's like very heartwarmed to see Dolores in a nook. And so like he's kind of distracted by that. And yeah, so you can drag everyone off to the side and have a little chat with them.
Okay. Okay, listen. I know that my stock is very, very low with everyone right now, but I can smell a scam when I'm standing knee-deep in it. Your betrothed's father is the man who put the whammy on me, and we've been assuming that they're on two different sides of a civil war that was going to bring out the Underdark, but they actually appear to be on the same side. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of what's going on here before we make any kind of agreements, because what they've sold us and told us might be an entire bill of goods. I don't know that we even necessarily need to leave someone behind here. This whole thing stinks like sheep offal. What
I know of the Fae, do I know the leaving behind? Like, would that rule sound legit to me?
That rule would sound very legit to you. Yeah. You, as far as you know, that is definitely a thing that would be the case.
Yeah. So, I mean, so Tyrion's just like, I believe that is the guy you saw, which does raise some suspicions. But the leaving behind thing that is true. That is something that has to happen regardless of what's going on with them.
Okay,
But I hate to say it, I agree with Ron. This is so fishy.
There's something else going on here, and take it from a con man, you can't. Things are moving really weird here right now. Are you 100% dedicated to staying here? And the reason I ask is because apparently if I try and leave, there's going to be problems where this door, whatever access they have to our world, is going to be increased, and I'm probably not going to be able to help myself from doing so. So in order to protect Stonetop and everyone we know, I'm the only person that it makes sense to stay behind here.
Yeah, but the only way you'll become what a Nook.
Not necessarily. I have an idea. But even if that happens, Anouk was doing something that she loved for all eternity. So why wouldn't it be the same for me? There are worse ways to go. She loves to read and she loves to learn. And she was put in a state where she was reading and learning eternally.
You're right. I don't want a door open that leads to people straight out. So, who trusts Ron to talk us out of this one? I'm getting married no matter what. That's happening.
Right.
I think you should get married. I think you should get married at the scheduled time, not right now.
I was like, that's a thing.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Let's not change the deal now.
The deal is the deal.
The promise, he has made a promise. It was winter solstice.
And if you do want to change it, you are within your rights to request. If he's making an amendment to the contract, you would also have the right to make an amendment to the contract. If you want to proceed now, I would only ask one. I would ask a boon of you to ask him to request that the king arrives to bless your union. But I don't want to push that on you. If Carlo is right, if you stick to the terms of the original contract, that's going to be safer and a more known quantity. How much details do we know about that arrangement? Like when we got everything
you know
shared.
as much as Tyrion knows. Yeah.
Okay.
You know as much as Tyrion knows. Yep.
So the deal was to save 12 people in order to commit to the marriage, in order to that would occur on the winter solstice, which is how long away? How far away?
It's November, so it's 6 weeks.
Okay. So why is it important that they want to push forward the wedding from 6 weeks, which is virtually around the corner anyway, to right now? There's something else happening here, and if he's changing the terms, that's not going to be good for us mortals. They take the long view and the long game. From every story and everything that I've ever heard about, something else is happening here. And I look over at Ilsa like, right? Am I crazy here? You've seen all sorts of intrigues, all sorts of people talking about it, people who are in their cups and not making sense. Do I sound like that, or are you with me? Can you smell the bullshit on this too?
Tyrion is like, it's like single tears. She's like, oh, you do listen to me sometimes.
I want to talk to them.
We do need to talk to them. If what you're saying about, well, the king is true, if he's the one who met you at the edge of the wood, if he's the one who put the charm on you, then we need to get to the bottom of that.
Well,
I don't want to go that shouldn't be open.
The king is a side issue. That would just be for me if I end up staying here. I need to meet him. But if we're going to proceed with the original plan, then that's fine. I'm not trying to put my needs in front of everyone else here. This is about doing what's best for you and for Stonetop.
I am fine with waiting, but we need to figure out what's going on. And if I have a backup idea, if this all goes to shit. I don't not trust, if that makes sense. I am not sure what their game is right now. I don't think they've lied to us. I just don't think they've told us the whole truth.
Using something in my playbook, I kind of want to go do something about it.
Okay.
Or try to anyway, if my dice will let me.
Okay.
Because I have speak truth to power.
Yeah, that's right.
When you demand that someone do what is clearly good and right, you have advantage to parlay.
Okay. Then go for it. Tell me what you're telling them to do, first of all.
I'm gonna be really straight with them.
Okay.
And I'm going to approach them and say, I've heard the tales of your people. I have heard and understand how contracts work. But what I don't understand is what your other motives are, and you need to tell us.
Okay, roll parlay. You get 3 dice.
Does Ilsa tell us what you're intending to do, or does she just sort of turn from the parlay and walk over there and talk to them?
I just kind of turn from there and walk over and just talk to them. So I'm kind of over their bullshit to such a large degree.
Right. And ours. Or mine, anyway.
Parlay is plus
Charisma.
Charisma. Ugh. I got an 8.
Okay. On an 8. South of the move here. On an 8. Reveal something you can do to convince them, though it'll likely be costly, tricky, or distasteful. Okay. Says the guy who's the betrayer. I needed to give them names so long ago, but fairies don't give them names. Says the father of Tyrion's fiance. Says, all right, we'll tell you everything you want to know. All you have to do is stay with us. One of you has to. Why not you?
How can I guarantee you'll keep your word and actually tell us everything?
I'll tell you everything.
I see. We're going to try another little tricky contract and try and wrap us up in it.
I will tell you this. I will make you a servant in the palace. You'll have as much freedom as any mortal who lives in our world does. You will be at my side. You will be at my beck and call. You will fight in many of our great and glorious wars. You will be a hero, spoken of, for the rest of time. And I will tell you everything you want to know. All you have to do is stay.
Do not do it.
You'll find I've lost my taste for being a hero. But if this is the last thing that I can do as a heroic act to help my friends, people that deserve better than what you've been giving them.
Tyrion butt in.
Sure.
No, you're not going to stay.
I don't think you get to make that call.
Tyrion looks to both her betrothed and his dad, and is just like, I will stay. We can move up the wedding if, and only if, you do not make Bronn go through with leaving a door open. Listen, I have trusted you thus far. I do not know why your father here wants...
I lean over. Make sure none of us have to leave a door open.
Yeah, she's just like, as long as... Yeah. She's like, there will be no leaving doors open behind us. They will leave.
From this moment forward, I will make you this guarantee. From this moment forward, no doors between the fairyland and the human world will be left open ever again.
After we go through it.
Of course, yes, of course.
After, like, you let them all leave, and I will stay, but only if we keep the peace between the fairies and the human world.
Tyrion, you don't have to do that. I mean,
It's simple. The contract is already being changed by moving the wedding up. If I have to make this one amendment to it, I can stay and you all can leave.
Why do the fairy want to come across?
We're curious. I'll tell you that. We're curious. You know we're curious. We like to see your ways and see what you're up to.
You get to see everything anyway.
No, we have to come up to your world. That's why we change things every so often, just to see how things are going.
Tyrion, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to stay? Because you don't have to give up your learning. You don't have to give up your kids. You don't have to give up anything. I don't have anything to offer I don't have anything to offer Stonetop that can't be done by somebody else. But you do. You're a guiding light and a guiding hand for all those children. And Ilsa, you are
Still talking, and I don't believe I got to finish what I was discussing with these two gentlemen.
I will stay.
I stay, they go.
I'm
ready to agree right now.
I want this.
Tyrion, I love you, but sometimes you're absolutely ridiculous.
And that's fine. I'm a little weird. I'm a little ridiculous. Whatever. I am not letting you stay here.
You don't get that choice.
You
You don't
so much
get that choice.
And you don't get the choice from me either. I made this choice. I made this deal.
Then fucking stay. But I'm going to do what I can to get you guys out of here. Because that's all that matters to me right now.
And I'm going to do to get you guys out of here. So you're just kind of
Fairy King is like doing the popcorn eating gif.
Right?
It's already set in stone for me. I come here one way or another, and I want to be here. But the rest of you should get to go and live your lives the way you want to live your life. And I don't think you want to do that here.
Yeah, so your time on the mortal plane isn't done. There are still things and people for you there. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, and I know that you're disillusioned and you think we're all a bunch of assholes, and you're right. But that doesn't mean you should. That especially means you shouldn't throw away your life and the rest of your livelihood on a bunch of us. And Tyrn, nowhere in the contract that you have did it indicate that you have to live here on the other side of the veil with the Fairy King. And if you do that, you're abandoning so many people who love you and need you, and I don't see that as a way forward for either of you. And even if the item is lifted from me, and I'm not going to betray everyone and leave a door open, if that is part of the agreement, I don't bring anything to the community. Carlo, you are keeping everyone safe. You are maintaining order in our community. Tyrn, you are the teaching these children that they are the future, and you're the guiding hand for them. Ilsa, you have an entire life in front of you, and it has been rough, and you've learned some lessons not to trust fast-talking, handsome gentlemen who are trying to tell you how to live your life. And
I said fast talking.
Yeah, and if you don't go back and learn from that, if you let this hurt make you do something you're going to regret forever, how can you live with yourself? I've hurt all of you. I've betrayed all of you. If anyone needs to stay for the good of everyone, it has to be me.
Part of the deal is that I will have to become a fairy to live here. That is part of how becoming a fairy queen works.
The fairy prince was accurate.
Yeah. I will come here no matter what, whether it happens today or 6 weeks from now.
Well, we might as well know what they have planned for you. And I'm going to turn towards the Fairy King, and I'm going to put out my hand and say, do we have a deal?
Fairy King looks among all of you and says, I will make a deal with you. And you see a contract here in front of you. And he says, now, what do you wish the terms of this contract to be? I laid out my side. Your side is you want your friends to be returned.
I want my friends to be returned, and I want you to reveal what is really going on here.
Yes, and I will to you, but not to them.
She signs it.
Don't do the...
Excellent. And he snaps his fingers, and you three and Dolores and Anouk are spirited away. And then he looks at you, at Elsa, and says, I was hoping it would be you. You know, the reason I was okay with no gates being opened was because you already opened your gate on the way down. Do you think the crumble was there to keep humans out? No, it was there to keep us in.
It's still there.
We're going to cut to our others up in the forest. You're just now up on the little hill overlooking where you came in, and there's a trail of destruction heading from the hole you entered out through the forest. And that's where we're going to wrap this session. Somebody roll me. I think, let's see, we're going to advance seasons one more time. And I have to remember where that is because, yes, okay. So when winter grips the land, whoever is most weary rolls 1d4 plus population. God, I don't even remember what our population is. Let's just say plus 1. Roll 1d4 plus 1, and the steading consumes that much surplus. So who is weariest?
I'm going to guess that's Ilsa. Elsa's weary and sick of this shit.
Yeah. Peace out. Alright. You said +1?
Mm-hmm.
2.
Okay. Yes. So surplus is reduced to 0, but you don't trigger any of the other terrible things that can happen. So regardless of the last roll, please roll plus fortunes. I believe we have +2. Oh no, now we're down to 0. So just roll 2 d6.
Six.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's going to be a long, hard, terrible, cold winter. We'll be back next time to see as we enter the last little bit of this session. We have a bunch of end-of-session moves, but we'll do those off camera, off mic, because they take some time. Anyway, thank you all for paying attention and listening to us. I had a blast, as always. And if you folks would tell us where people can find you, and we'll start with Mac.
Hey guys, I have been and will continue to be Mac Beauvais. You can find me online as @StrangeLikeThat, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebooks, and my website. You can also find me over at 12-Sided Stories. We just wrapped the 2nd season of Unquiet Blood, a game of Vampire 5e that I GM'd, and you should check it out.
And Nick.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Levy. You can find me on Twitter @SunGrowler. Besides that, I have no other public appearances unless you want to come into the sweaty hell pit of Southern California, in which case I'll take you to my favorite Cajun place.
I would love to go to a Cajun place. Blythe.
Yeah, I have been Blythe. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, everything, all under Blythe Kala 93. That's BLYTHEKALA 93. Currently, I am here, and on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I am over on Roll For It, and we are playing Night's Black Agent, and I am playing a white woman with a podcast who solves vampire crimes. So come watch that on Saturday mornings. It's kind of beautiful, and we're trying to take down a vampire conspiracy.
A white woman with a podcast? How relatable. Mo.
Hey, I'm still Mo. You can reach me at ashyfeet.com. I'm ashyfeet1 on Twitter. If you go to ashyfeet.com, you can go to my Discord and find Zero Samurai, a new game that my design partner and I worked on. He did most of the work. It is 7 samurai if none of the samurai show up to save your village. And you're going to lose if you fight, so you better make some other choices.
Wow, that sounds cool.
That sounds great. I'm Emily Vanderwerf. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/EmilyVDW, and I'm here every other Monday playing this wonderful game of Stonetop with these wonderful players. I'm going to read you some boilerplate, everybody, assuming I can find the tab. So that's the end of the ninth session, and we hope you enjoyed it. Join us on, July 19th. I can do math for our next session. If you want to catch up on past episodes, visit happyjacks.org/Stonetop. If you want to find all of the other actual plays on the Happy Jacks Network, visit happyjacks.org/shows. And that's all for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week as we enter the final stretch of episodes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.